Welcome to Warhammer. You would have noticed two things by now, and the first thing is there is a lot of factions and a lot of units out there in the Warhammer universe. And two, the miniatures is quite expensive. If you're thinking about building your first army, I would go for a 1,000-point army to start with. And I would go for a narrative style army that is a bit flavorful to start with, because I'm not a competitive player, and I think a lot of people starting out is actually also more into the narrative gameplay side of it. So for my next project, I have personally chosen to build an army that has a lot of flavor and a great PPD, points per dollar. So each unit, if you don't know, has a point value. And the lowest point you can have for an army in the rule book is a 1,000-point army. You can also play combat patrol that is actually half that, but a different set of rules for it. So I would go for a great PPD. Great PPD is actually a great amount of points per dollar spent on the miniatures. So I suggest you do like me and start a 1,000 Suns army. They are basically Egyptian space wizards. Kind of cool looking, I think. Even if the miniatures are a few years old, I still think they look really good, and they are not as old as some other miniatures out there. And also, I think that the 1,000 Suns have the, or not the highest, but one of the highest PPD, so one of the highest points per dollar, and it's all because of one of the boxes that 1,000 Suns have, and that is the Exalted Sorceress. And if you have any other examples of a great army with a great PPD, please comment down below. So if you go for the Egyptian space wizards, I think you get a flavorful army, you get some great units to paint, and also cool minis to actually put on the tabletop. To get a 1,000-point army, you will have to buy only 4 boxes. So the first box is actually going to be the Exalted Sorceress. And this is the box that actually gives the greatest PPD of all of them, because you basically get 3 characters worth around 110 or 115 points each. Basically the same cost or a little bit more than 1 hero unit. Then you get 1 box of Rubric Marines and 2 boxes of Scarab Occult Terminators. Yeah, these guys look really cool, and you could basically switch one of these boxes out for another Rubric Marines, but I really love Terminators, so I went for 2 Terminator squads instead. These 4 boxes will all together give you a total point value of 935 points. And then you can add enchantments to your Exalted Sorceress, as bringing you up to 1,000 points. And enchantments is actually something you can bring in game, so it's nothing that you buy. It's a skill or a spell that you assign to one of your units, and it's all in the rule books. So the total cost for bringing all of this into your army is around 170, 180 USD, and that is if you buy them from a local game store, which usually have a 5 to 10% discount on all of the boxes. So your PPD for this army would be around 5.4 points per dollar. I don't have any other army to compare right now, but you basically get 23 minis, and it's a 1,000-point army all in all. For example, if you're gonna bring a infantry-based army from the Astra Militarum, you would actually have to bring like 40 or 50 miniatures at least. The pros for this army is that it's super flavorful, I think. It has a lot of cool details and a cool backstory and a quite unique style to them, I think. And if you haven't read about or seen something about the 1,000 Suns before, I highly suggest that you read up on them. I think this is my favorite Traitor Legion besides the World Eaters. Another pro is that you only have to paint 23 miniatures. They can be a bit hard to paint because they have a lot of gold trimmings to them, but you can get around that if you just spend a little time on each and you only have 23 models, so it's gonna go pretty fast either way. And I also think that this is a great army to use in narrative gameplay because you have a lot of deep story in the Traitor Legion of the Thousand Sons, or have a lot of different motivations you can bring into a narrative campaign and different goals for them. So Thousand Sons is a great army to use in narrative play, I think, because they have a lot of backstory and a lot of possible scenarios where they could be used as a great enemy to other factions. And if you would like to expand this army to a 1500 points army, you could bring in what I did, Armen, the leader of the Thousand Sons, if you ignore Magnus the Red, and a great centerpiece model, a Lord of Change. And I know from the rules as they are right now, you actually have to have also a unit of blue horrors to be able to accompany the Lord of Change. But as we are all playing narrative gameplay, it doesn't really matter. You do what you want to do, basically. But these two units will actually add a lot of cost, basically add $140, bring the total cost up to around $315. So those last 500 points that these two bring, it's not really 500 points, it's like 430 or something like that if you use enchantments and stuff like that. These 500 points could be made cheaper by actually buying more Rubric Marines or Scarab Occult Terminators, but I really wanted to expand a 1000 army using a centerpiece model. And sure, you could use Magnus the Red instead of both of these, and you will actually get more for around $120, I would think. But I really don't like that model. I mean, the chest horns and everything like it, it's just weird. All of the other models I really love, and I really love the feel to the army. For a 1000 point army, I would actually bring what I've shown you today. 1 box of Exalted Sorcerers, 1 box of Rubric Marines. It's pretty hard to say. Rubric Marines. And also 2 boxes of Scarab Occult Terminators. So now you just have to paint them all. Let's get to it. But not in this video. I will bring out more videos on this project as I paint them, but I'll basically have like 5 projects running at the same time, so there will be some other videos before I show you the finished army, or what I do when and how I paint my 1000 Sons. And for the record, I'm thinking about painting them gold and white and a little bit of teal to them, maybe. Yeah, I think they're gonna be cool.